It's Screech, and today we're going to be going over the new FL Studio or ImageLine plugin, Destructor. So the first thing we're going to do here is make sure that the sound that you want is routed to the mixer track that you want it to be routed to. Then we're going to go on slot 1, and we're going to go to this new tab. As you can see, they added 2 new plugins in the most recent update, and we're going to choose Destructor. So when it first comes up, you will have all 4 options filled in. What I would recommend doing is right-clicking on the presets and then going to empty to start out. And then we're going to leave show peak meters on. This here is the peak meter. It's just going to show you how long it is. I mean, how loud it is. Jesus Christ. You can go to this little plus icon, and so the first thing here is obviously you have 4 options here. These are the only options you have, but you have more options within here. When I click add distortion, I can now go to this next box here, add filter, I can add chorus, and finally I can add the speaker. Now to turn one off, I can go up to this little button here. I can turn all those off. And click it again to turn it back on. I can go to the little gear icon to remove it completely. And I can use these arrows to switch it around within the plugin's display here. So the first thing we're going to start off with is the distortion one. So essentially what Destructor is a plugin that will combine the various FL Studio plugins into one. So distortion, for example, would be Fruity Overdrive or whatever, Blood Overdrive right here, and also Soft Clipper. They have a soft clipping thing on here, although it's not that complicated. But anyway, so here's Fruity Overdrive. I haven't used this in a while. This actually looks kind of different, but this is just a basic distortion plugin. As you can see, you have your options here for creating distortion. Inside of Destructor, you essentially have these same options, right? You have this little preset thing here. You can click on that. One of the things that I personally don't like, but it might make it a little simpler, is if you select a different preset, you will have different options of how to change it. Not all of them, but there we go. So it's just you kind of have to go around with it because you don't have all the options in front of you. However, depending on your experience level, that may be what you need. So the next thing we're going to go over is the filter here. So I'm going to turn that on. Also, real quick, you can just switch these out. So if I want to turn this filter into a distortion, I can just go to that drop arrow and select distortion. And yes, you can have multiple of the same plugin inside inside of the one instance of Destructor. So I'm going to go ahead and switch this back to filter. This is pretty simple. It's Fruity Filter. That's like I said, it's just a version of a plugin that is already inside of FL Studio, but is combined into this one plugin. So go ahead and play this little saxophone sound here, and so you just have your cutoff. So it's going to start cutting down frequencies. This is a low pass here, so when I'm cutting down the high frequencies now. And real quick, a note on, well, obviously, so smooth up modulation. Modulation just basically means change. So it's just kind of, if there are sharp edges in the wave signal, it's just going to automatically smooth those out. Oversampling isn't something you really have to worry about, and it can get pretty complex. I can't explain it in a timely manner, but it is essentially where the computer will add in intermediary points between points that it has on an audio wave, but you can play around with it and see what it'll be like. Really, the only other thing I have on this is, so I only have the one option here for cutoff, If I go for notch, I know for sure. Then I can, then you have a little resonance thing. Resonance, this will be hard to show without the wave, without the wave in front of me, but essentially resonance will at this frequency here that your cutoff's at, so 34%, it's not going to translate that into hertz for me, but I can essentially make let me show this in the EQ. Essentially resonance is doing this, and so when you turn up the resonance knob, you're just pulling up one edge of the frequency, whereas the cutoff filter is going to do that. It's just going to cut off, and then you can pull up on that edge. So I hope you can understand that. Next we'll go on to Fruity Chorus, and so this is a pretty basic thing. No presets, and you just got, you can add the delay in. It's just a chorus plugin. A note real quick here, I haven't gone over this yet. There's the mix, so you can turn this down in the mix, similarly to how you can turn the actual plugin down by doing that. That's for all plugins in FL Studio. And you can turn, so the peak meter has two sides, as you can see. So you have an input and an output. You can turn either one up or down with these two knobs here. So that one's pretty simple. And then the speaker is pretty simple too. I'm going to compare it to something not that I know of in FL Studio, but I'm going to compare it to a third-party plugin, and that's Isotope Vinyl. This was, I think it's fallen off a little bit, but this was a very popular plugin back when when lo-fi was at its height. And basically all this does is you have some options here for like noise and wear, and then you can select a year to play it in. It gives it like a vintage feel or whatever, and distorts the sound to make it sound low fidelity or lo-fi. But I'm gonna go ahead and play I guess just some of their presets here, so you can just kind of see. I haven't gone through all these, but essentially you're just playing it through different speakers, virtual speakers. There is stereo separation, but other than that, you can't really change anything. So these are just kind of presets that are there, and you'll just have to kind of scroll through them until you find something you like. And that's pretty much it. It's a relatively simple plugin if you're already mostly accommodated with plugins like Fruity Blood Overdrive, Fruity Filter, Fruity Chorus, and Isotope Vinyl. It's really more like Effectrix, I think it was called. I've never used it, but it was really popular for a while, where it's just a plugin that combines other effects and puts them all right in front of you. And so I think that is kind of the main point of this plugin. So if that's something that you need, definitely give this a try. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Thanks for watching. Please consider liking and subscribing. I post tutorials, preset packs, drum kits, a bunch of stuff related to FL Studio 3 times a week. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.